and trailing at the break. They needed to show the fight and character Ruud van Nistelrooy wanted, and they showed it in buckets. And they've won the game, thanks to Jamie Vardy's equaliser and Bilal El Khanousi's winner. Brilliant, brilliant victory for Leicester, moves them out of the bottom three, deepens the gloom here for Tottenham, but it's Leicester's day in North London. Full-time score, Tottenham 1, Leicester City 2.
And breathe. I think that's got to be the plan, hasn't it? Here in the studio. What a victory that is for the Foxes on the road at Tottenham. We'll stay, Matt, with you, though, to revel in these post-match celebrations. The Leicester players are on the pitch. The Leicester away end, I'm sure, is going absolutely mental right now. Talk us through the scenes, Matt.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we didn't really mention it, but there's an absolute army of Leicester City's travelling supporters today. They come here in their droves. They've got a great seat in the stadium as well. Normally, they've got the likes of St James's Park, Newcastle. You're up in the top tier. They're down in the bottom right-hand corner, just near where both Leicester City goals went in early in that second period, and they're enjoying it to the max, as is everyone concerned with Leicester City, as you can imagine. A huge relief. It's far from job done, but it's a massive step forward for the club and the team and squad as a whole, isn't it? Ruud van Nistelrooy was as pleased as anyone as well, as you may well imagine. Hugging intensely numerous players, backroom staff, security guards, etc., etc. But they're all over in the corner, acknowledging the support of their fans. Rightly so, because a magnificent effort from the travelling Foxes faithful, but also on the pitch as well. And we haven't been able to say that too often this year, not collectively and not completely, but I think today, there can't be, listen, you can always pick faults, but there can't be too much criticism of that performance. It wasn't perfect, but it was what was required today and ongoingly for the rest of the season. Time will tell how important it's been, but it's certainly a moment to savour might be the wrong phrase, but it's something to be proud of and use as a spur going forward.
Absolutely. I'm sure that wasn't a pun intended. Matt, we'll stay.
It wasn't actually, I'm not that clever, mate.
Not that clever. We'll obviously keep talking to you during these post-match analysis of that incredible victory. Jerry Taggart and David Nugent are with me, Dan Bates, in the studio. We've been watching next door in the room, and we've been trying our best not to bite every fingernail. We've been screaming for every decision, Jerry, haven't we? But you can see what it means. All the players are buzzing. That is a fantastic win, and you never know what that might do.
Yeah, and going into the Lions' Den, of sorts in the Tottenham arena. What a result! What a performance! Just exactly what we all wanted and all needed, and it just shows that when you put yourself on the line and when you fight for every ball and then you have that little bit of quality and that little bit of class for both the goals, then what you can achieve. And you set your own standards as a professional footballer and as a professional football team. And that is a standard now that can't be dropped, because if they play like that from now on in, then they give themselves a chance, don't they? Mm. But you can't let your standards drop from that. It's as simple as that, Dan. That is the bottom line. We need to be seeing that sort of commitment, that drive, that effort. We need to be seeing that every week, and not just with the football. I mean, without it. So that was a magnificent performance, and not because it was beautiful to watch, because it meant everything to everybody on that pitch, and obviously to everyone watching, and us.
Yeah, I think we had something to hold on to as well, didn't we? And that makes it even better.
Absolutely.
When you win in 2-1, when we scored our first 2 early goals, we got something to hold on to. That just makes you want to defend and run that little bit harder, knowing that you got something to hold on to. And every cross that came into the box, we headed it. Every pass that we played down the sides, we cut it out. It was backseat towards the end. We were just clearing it anywhere. But that's what we asked for in like a dogged performance: clear your lines and just defend as a team. Every ball that went forward, it wasn't real good quality, so it ain't going to stick. was either into the channels where Patson couldn't run onto it or Vard couldn't run onto it. It was just like, come on, come again. We're going to defend as a team and see if we can hold on to it.
You know, we didn't try and force it out from the back. We played out when it was on to do so. Keeper kicked long the majority of the time. Yes, it's not pretty, but we don't need to be pretty at the moment. We need to try and get results. And, you know,
I think
everything played its part. And the 2 goals, you know, were good moves. It's good footballing moves, but good footballing moves in the opponent's half of the pitch. You know, and that's where we want to see it at the moment.
I think you have to build confidence by winning games, and then obviously when you've won a few and you're getting a few bit of confidence in each game, that's when you start seeing the better performances. But I think at the start you just need like performances like this to get you over the line, to get that first win, and then maybe we can start seeing improvement in the way we play. But I don't think it'll come straight away. I think we need more performances like this just to keep on top of it. You know, we're out the relegation zone. You know, that win took us out, so that's another added bonus as well. You know, so it's something to build on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Matt, it wasn't a clean sheet. Tottenham did get that goal in the first half, but I tell you what, in that second half, the way they dug in, those defenders, the midfielders, and everyone, and the goalkeeper, particularly Jakub Stolasic, brilliant. We'll come on to a man of the match in a moment, but they'll all feel that was as good as a clean sheet, keeping them out like they did in that second half.
Yeah, I think in that games gone by, and I felt it, which is why I sort of tried to stress the point with Leicester to go and attempt to go and get that other goal for them to win this game, because I didn't have confidence in them seeing it out as much as they tried. Or, you know, they just felt that something would go against them, as it often has this season, or mistakes have been made, or something's occurred. But there was a difference. There was an alternative feel about how they went about their business. Nuge just mentioned there a different mentality, maybe because they had that to hold on to, whereas other times they've been chasing games or hanging on a little bit, you know, with the scores level. But they had that advantage and they were desperate to hold on to it. You could see it, you know. I'm not a massive fan of it mid-game, but you saw a lot of mini celebrations there, or acts of encouragement, shall we say, and support for people's challenges, blocks, saves, etc. And that was good. You know, the manager's been talking about togetherness and unity. You can't just fake it. You can't just produce it externally, and it's got to come sort of from within, collectively. And I think today you genuinely saw that, and I think you have to a degree throughout the season. I think there's just been some individual shortcomings at times, and general shortcomings as well, you have to say, but not that are unredeemable, I think, and today is proof of that. It was an ideal fixture. You know, Jerry says about the Lions Den, but they weren't particularly fierce today, Tottenham. It was a good opposition to play, but gives great positivity, great encouragement and great impetus, doesn't it, going forward, and reinforces what the manager's been saying, you know, that they do have the capability within the squad.
Matt, Jerry here, how do you think Bobby Reid did today and on that left-hand side? I know obviously he gets an assist for the Vardy goal, but I mean in general.
Yeah,
he got 2 assists technically.
Well, yeah.
He did, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, and fair play to him for that. You know, that's all he needs to do, just show people that, doesn't he? Go, there you go, contributed. But he's efficient, isn't he? You know, he's not sort of eye-catching, and at times, probably himself, he's a little bit frustrating to watch. You know, you sort of expect or want a little bit more, but he does a job. He understands the level of that he's playing at, doesn't he? In terms of, he's reasonably experienced in the Premier League. Flits in and knows his role within the squad, as well as on the pitch as well. And I think it could prove more valuable, perhaps, than he's been given credit for. And I think today, you know, myself included, a few people sort of looking at the lineup thinking, oh, you know, might need a little bit more than that today. You know, Ayew and De Cordova-Reid, but others have had a chance, and it hasn't provided what's been required. Not necessarily those forward players' faults, you know, it's defensive areas that they've been lax, but is a good, solid Premier League player, as is Ayew, and Ruud van Nistelrooy needs that dependability at the moment, and it's proved his worth today, hasn't he? I think for sure.
Who was your standout player then, Matt? Would you say today?
Well,
it's a bit easier for you watching it there live, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what you think yourself, Jerry. So you're watching on the screens and whatever. Bates is probably like nudged me into it there with Stelarczyk, but on field, Samari for me. Samari, I thought it didn't get. Actually, Chris did mention him a few times, but it didn't do anything too out there or too spectacular. But he looks lean to me. He looks fit. He looks powerful. He looks like he could go all day. And his game's improving at that. His concentration is proving. He seems like that's sinking into him. A couple of times he's just a little bit loose, you could say. But that's going to happen with the hustle and bustle of a central midfield football player throughout the course of 90+ minutes. But he looked as good as anything out there. He certainly looks better than anything in the Tottenham midfield. I think his only competitor in midfield stakes was Harry Winks in one department and Kanoos in another, but I thought Samari was pretty impressive there.
It was him that won it back, wasn't it, for the second goal?
Yeah, he did that numerous times, Dan, didn't he? Probably more so, off the top of my head, in the first half. Him and Kanoos were sharp. They realised where Tottenham were perhaps going to be vulnerable, and they closed that down well, and that carried on into the second half early on, and that waned a little bit as the game went on. But yeah, when you say, Jerry, about being live, when someone sort of gives that impression of that aura's too strong a word, right? But he's got that presence. Look about him, that presence. That's the one. That's about the happy medium, and he was emitting lots of presence.
I'm not sure that is the right way of saying it, but we'll move on quickly. He makes a good point, no news, doesn't he? But Booba was brilliant today.
Yeah, as you said, I think he was anticipating the passes into midfield. He was playing on the front foot where he was trying to nick the ball, and obviously we've seen it was the second goal where he won it back.
Yeah.
And then obviously give it to Bobby, and then Bobby's give it inside to El Kanous for the great finish. But that's what you need from you, the holding midfielders. You got to sense danger, and I think he did that throughout the game today, the whole 90 minutes, and obviously intercepting balls. That's your job, and giving it to someone else who's a bit more advanced ahead of you to let them do their stuff. So absolutely. I think it was a top solid performance by tomorrow.
We've seen that from both centre halves as well on the front foot. There's been a tendency for the back line in recent games to drop off and keep going towards their own goal, whereas today they were on the front foot when the balls were being played in to the front men. They were on the front foot nipping in, and and maybe that was, I don't know whether or not that was because Samari was doing it, in the next line, in that midfield line. But that's a good habit to get into, whether you're a midfielder or a centre half, is to be on the front foot. I know you can't do it all the time, but when them straight balls are coming in, or they're trying to split your midfield line or your defensive line with those balls, and you're on that front foot reading it. I mean, it's a good habit to get into.
Absolutely. And to add to the good news as well from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, here at King Power Stadium, a mere matter of metres away from us, LCFC women are also winning. They're 2-1 up against Liverpool, heading into the second half in that one. Goals from Cayman and Goodwin. Hopefully they can hold on, and what a Sunday that will then be for Leicester City as a club. We'll concentrate for now, though, on the men. I'll keep you updated with the scoreline, though, in that game here at King Power Stadium. But news, look at that picture behind us. It's great, isn't it? Look at Harry Winks. We said how much this game would probably mean to Harry Winks against his former club. He showed passion, he showed desire and grit alongside Booba. If it was Booba that was maybe the one with the presence, Winks was a calm influence, wasn't he, in midfield? Yeah,
and you'd want to put one over on his former team as well, and he's done that today. Again, I thought he was nice and neat on the ball like he always is. Booba might get the headlines, but Harry Winks, when he gets on the ball, he's calm, he's collected. Very rarely gives the ball away, and we've seen that again today. And I think the whole team needs a lot of credit. The manager for shoring it up at the back as well. Last 10-15 minutes, putting Cody on to go 5 at the back, knowing that they're going to be under pressure with a lot of crosses coming into the box. So I think every man on the pitch today and the coaching staff deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, I think Harry Winks, not only was he calm on the ball, but he looked. I'm not saying he doesn't look like he means it, but he looked proper busy today in the middle of that park. You know, and you could tell that he was given that little bit extra because it was probably because he was playing against Tottenham, and obviously because it means so much, and we need Harry Winks playing well, and today we got Harry Winks playing well.
Yeah, very much so. The man in front of him and the man at the front of that picture as well, Matt Elliott, is Bilal El Khanous. We said pre-match how important he is, and clearly what a very good player he is. The way he took that goal was so good, wasn't it? He made it look so easy.
Nonchalant, wasn't it? I mean, I thought he demonstrated a lot of his attributes today. Came off again, which some people would be disappointed in, but he gave his all. But he's got a little bit of something extra, hasn't he? Without a doubt, he's, you know, the little jinks on the ball and the little shimmies and the little bits of, sort of unusual skill that he provides. He's got an eye for a pass, and increasingly an eye for a goal, which is the best attribute he can have, of course. But he was he's not a luxury player, far from it, because he puts in a good shift as well. He's got both sides of the coin covered, but he has that sort of je ne sais quoi. Is that will fit?
He's full of it today.
I know, yeah. I'm just inventing phrases tags to get me out of trouble. But no, with Buonanotte, he's got a little bit of it, hasn't he? Something out of the ordinary. But Khanous, he plays like he believes he's a good player, that he's not better than, not got more than other players, but he knows he's got something that other players haven't. But I think he's been a bit sort of tentative on how to apply that in the early stage of the season. But increasingly, like Soumare, not before time, and Buonanotte to a level, becoming more and more assured. And he plays today like he's a fully fledged, not just Premier League player, but quite a big name in the Premier League. And he's got a little way to go for that, but he's got a little bit about him, hasn't he? A little bit loose in possession at crucial times, but then people who try the things that he tries, it's not always going to come off, so you have to take the rough with the smooth a little bit. But his finish, I mean, I actually thought, decent opportunity, wasted. I thought he just clipped it towards goal with not enough sort of power or conviction about it, and I thought the keeper's got to deal with that. But it was so accurate, and in that call, I still think the keeper probably should have done better. The top end keepers get a touch on that, but regardless, you have to say he made it look so easy. But it was a top class finish, wasn't it, from a very exciting player?
I think El Khanous, I think he's got one of the best first touches I've seen in a long time on a player. And what I mean by that is, if a defender's tight on him, he knows exactly, when the ball comes to him, he knows exactly the right amount of space between the ball and him he needs to put it for him to get back on it. At times he does overplay, gets a little bit overconfident. There's nothing wrong with that in the bigger scheme of things, but again, you're talking about Leicester being second from bottom, then he needs to just sort of temper that slightly. But you can see he's a real talent. He's a talented guy. I thought he's used the defender brilliantly for his goal. As
Ben Davis.
Ben Davis, who stood there, and he's used him as a dummy like you would do in training when you're clipping balls over the top.
A mannequin.
So he's blindsided the keeper. He's used Ben Davis to blindside the keeper, and that's probably why Matt's on about, keeper could have probably done better. But he's actually blindsided the keeper by using Davis as a mannequin, not a dummy. You're right.
He's probably not seeing it because obviously he uses Davis. So as he hits it round and the keeper's waiting for the ball to come into sight.
Yeah.
And it is late, but I think it's a Coulthard finish. He knows what he's doing.
Proper
side
finish.
Foot, inside of the foot, just side foot into the corners. And you look at the pace of the shot, you think, the keeper's going to save it, but because he is blindsided, it sneaks in. We've seen one in the first half with Son.
Yeah.
When he used it the same, but Slodge seen it a little bit early and got a tip around the corner in the first half. Where this one, their keeper didn't see it.
We've seen a similar finish in the pre-match show when somebody scored the winner at Tottenham 20 years ago.
Matt Elliott said it. Matt, you were at both away wins so far this season for Leicester. Both of them dramatic, of course. That game down at Southampton coming from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Today at Tottenham, 1-0 down to win 2-1. Does this, though, feel like the biggest maybe moment of the season, do you think, for Leicester so far?
Oh, yeah, tough one, really. I think at the time, yeah, everyone was absolutely ecstatic, weren't they, about coming back against Southampton, and the drama that unfolded there. Yeah, understandably so. Yeah, hope was a little bit more sort of abundant then, wasn't it, I suppose. Yeah, probably today, I think, because it was relatively obviously a lot earlier stages of the season, and everything was sort of up in the mix a bit. But even though, listen, there's pressure every week, isn't there? And even though that was seen as crucial way back then, but on the back of the consecutive defeats, sooner or later, and the emphasis massively on sooner, things had to change, didn't they? And you felt if they did change today, where do Leicester go? Where do Leicester go from here? And not to say that the win was absolutely do or die, but it was hugely important to get something out of this game, wasn't it? We can't keep sort of justifying reasonable performances and coming out with nothing. So I think probably on the listen, if things are to go Leicester's way, they're meant to achieve their target ultimately, i.e. staying up in the division. If that occurs off the back of this, then yeah, this has the potential to be the bigger of the two, doesn't it? Because of the stage of the season that we're at.
Do you agree with that, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, every game you go into can be season defining potentially. You know, and what the win today has done is washed away all the woes from the last two home games, and now it's a new dawn. It's a new start. It's another opportunity for them to potentially climb the table, go on some kind of positive run, and that's what the win today does. We were talking before the game about Tottenham's form, the players that are injured, the teams that were losing yesterday that are alongside Leicester. So they were given all these little glimmers of hope, and what Leicester needed to do was take advantage of those little glimmers of hope, and thankfully they've done that today.
Looking at the Leicester City account on X, formerly Twitter, obviously they've put a poll out to the supporters for their standout player. Jakub Stolasic is edging it over Bilal El Khanous. There's a number of replies for Samare. The three options were Vardy, Stolasic, El Khanous, and then obviously other, so people could comment others. But yeah, Stolasic just about topping it at the minute, and that's so good, because we spoke a little bit about him before the game, didn't we? That unwanted record that he had, but actually we felt he didn't necessarily deserve that. He'd not played badly, and today he proved just how commanding he can be.
Yeah, he can. You know, he's a big lad, and he comes for a lot of crosses.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, he's not scared to come through his own defenders. We've seen it a couple of times. He went through Vestergaard, went through Fast at one point as well. You know, so he's a big strapping lad who's not scared to come out for the ball. You know, he made some brilliant saves in the first half. The one we said about Son, he tipped it round the corner. You know, and even the saves when the players were offside, he still made the saves, and he still got to be there when there was two chances they had where two got flagged for offside, but he saved both of them. You know, so he's an unbelievable shot stopper. Again, a suspect with his feet, but as long as he keeps the ball at the net and the players win, or the team win, then you can't argue. But you know, he was stand out again today. You know, he's a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, he's nailed it. You know, I think, especially for a keeper that loves to come out and catch or punch stuff, it makes you think twice as an attacking player about where you're putting your crosses and how you're going to put them in. And then obviously when these little through balls were coming through, he was off his line. He was sharp as anything today off his line, and that's exactly what you need. You know,
defender's confidence as well. Doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got a good, strong character behind you as a centre half, then it means that you can go about you can concentrate more on what you're meant to be doing rather than worry slightly about what's behind you, which is your goalkeeper as a centre half. When you know he's going to do his job properly, then it gives the back four, let's call it, in front of the goalkeeper, that little bit more confidence to concentrate on what they need to be concentrating on.
Yeah, and then those four in front of him, Matt, became a five in front of him, didn't they? With about maybe 5 minutes to go of normal time, a little bit longer, and then obviously there was 7 minutes added on, a bit more, again because of the injuries that had occurred during additional time. That was a gamble from Ruud van Nistelrooy, but it's one that paid off.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned that it might mean a whole barrage of crosses coming in from wide, from Reguilon and Porro, but they didn't really materialise, did it? On a couple of occasions there was a flurry of deliveries, but Conor Coady coming on, in this instance, perhaps more so now than earlier on in the season, because he's played a few games himself, he sort of got himself up, sort of match tempo, if you like. He came on, no worries about him, and he just sort of G'd everyone up a little bit. You know, we know how vocal he is, and perhaps just help see them through, both in terms of positionally and physically on the pitch, but also mentality-wise. You know, he'd have been cajoling the lads. Say, come on, let's see it through. Last 10 minutes, boys. And you know, sometimes players need that. They need that because they're flagging a touch, and but he can see the finishing line, and he helped Leicester get over that today. Didn't he? Won his couple of challenges as well. The key aerial challenges there, a block or two. You know, did what good, solid, reliable, experienced Premier League defenders do, and Conor Coady's that.
Yeah, and they probably needed that a little bit as well, didn't they? And we said that, okay, it wasn't a clean sheet, but the second half keeping a clean sheet and getting that win will have felt like that.
Yeah, especially when he came on. You know, he's a good organiser, he's a good talker. You know, you just need that voice on the pitch to tell you to move up, you know, drop off, you know, push up. But again, I think when a sub comes on, you have to try and just go in there and do as well as you can. It's so hard coming into a game, and if it's like 5 minutes to go, as a defender, even Koulibaly coming on the right wing back as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for him to come into a game to get up to the pace of the game that quick. But again, I think both defenders that came on did really well. So it's worked out. It might have invited a bit more pressure in terms of crosses into the box, like Matty said, but we dealt with it really well.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to the pair of them. I mean, not only coming on the last couple of minutes as a sub, but your first ever appearance in English football. And he looked as cool as a cucumber, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
So fair play to him.
I mean, we're not going to dwell too much because we're running out of time on Koulibaly, but fair play to him. That it's real pressure time to come on. That is
it's horrible.
Yeah,
you know when I tell you, when the manager turns around and goes, right, but me, you want me to go on now? You're having a laugh, mate. I mean, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling.
Well, you probably would have got an inkling because JJ was going. You went down 3 times with cramp, didn't he? So he's probably thinking in his head, "Oh, I've got to come on. I'm coming on here like last 5 minutes." You know, but fair play to me. Come on, he looked composed on the ball. You give it away, didn't he? But then he straight away won it straight back and then played the pass into midfield. So yeah, no, he looked pretty solid when he came on.
Yeah. Right, Nuj, I'm going to let you have the final say for the day. Then, how big a win is that? We don't know what might happen by the end of the season, but that feels like a massive 3 points. Leicester are out of the relegation zone with that.
Yeah, it wasn't the best performance that we've seen this season. You know, start the second half, I thought we were excellent. Got the 2 goals to 2-1. Then we had that, you know, as I said earlier, we had something to hang on to, and we seen that in the defending. You know, for the last half an hour when they were pumping balls into the box. You know, we headed every ball, we cleared every ball. You know, we forfeited on the pitch, and that's what we need. We need a few more performances like that. And I'm sure if we get them, then the confidence will build and we'll start playing a different way. But for now, we need more performances like that and more points on the board.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nuj. We've got plenty more coming your way, of course, as ever, on Fox's Hub as we move into a new week and steadily into February in another week's time, of course. Before that, though, Everton against Leicester City. Big game at Goodison Park next week. Big chance again for the Foxes to win back-to-back away games. Back-to-back games, full stop. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? And if you need your Leicester fix before then, because of that fantastic victory today, then as ever, you can head onto the website, the app. There's plenty available for you, including a brand new podcast. Leicester's the Place. Season 2 starts with a bang. Conor Coady in conversation with Jerry and Matt. You can get that wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also watch it as well on YouTube and the website. Thank you to Jerry, to Nuge for their company with me in the studio today. It's been a really good day for the Foxes. Safe travels back to Matt Elliott and all of those Leicester City fans who have travelled down to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, of course, and have witnessed a fantastic victory for the away team as the Foxes now climb out of the relegation zone. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Goodbye.